episode of PTV. I'm Colette Kennedy.
And I'm Eva Arment. Colette, can you believe it was this time last year when we went on the longest spring break in school history?
So much has changed in just 1 year, but we've continued to keep as many activities and traditions going in whatever ways we can.
One of those activities is the annual MCL art contest. I had the opportunity to travel with the art students last week to give you this report on how that activity went. The Phillipsburg art students recently attended the MCL art contest.
We were given our prompt, which was through a window. So after a lot of brainstorming with Mrs. Peterson-Shea over the course of 30 minutes, we decided on a more political piece because the judge had said that he enjoys art pieces that make a statement. So we decided to do something sort of like that. So our general theme is the past, sort of viewing the future with absolute horror.
This competition provides a learning experience and a time to just have fun.
Well, I think what students get out of having an art contest is, well, there's all these different sports contests and there's sports things all year, but there's no real art competitions. And so I think it really gets students out there and excited to do art more because they get to put their skills to the test and compete against other people while also working in a team of other skilled artists.
As the year goes on, every art student shows some kind of progress.
I think each year, any art student shows progress. If there's any effort put forth, they're going to learn something about new media or how to create a better composition, or even just something more about themselves, just as they mature and go through just a year of high school.
For PTV, this is Eva Arment.
Another way in which Phillipsburg students showcase their creativity and talents was through this year's Entrepreneurship contest. Here's a closer look at what happened.
Last week, a few business-driven local students decided to put their skills to the test and compete in the Youth Entrepreneurship Challenge.
It's important because, first of all, it's a good learning opportunity for students to realize some of the things that they go to business-wise. They kind of get a behind-the-scenes picture of how things are actually done in a business.
Overall, everyone was pleased with how the competition went.
Yeah, everything went really well. I was stressed myself being the first time I've done this, but all the kids did a great job. They were all really well prepared. Obviously the confidence is lacking a little bit when you have to stand in front of, say, a video camera or in front of just people you don't know. But overall, very, very pleased.
I definitely think I did pretty good. I know that I did mess up in a few places, but I also think everyone else did really good.
Students gain different skills from creating a business.
My business is Bubba's Baking. We do professional cakes at a fraction of the price for hometowns like Phillipsburg. I would say I gained a lot of good public speaking knowledge because you have to speak to two judges and you have to know what you're talking about.
The top placers were, in 5th place, Connor Breyer with his business Soteria. In 4th place, Annie Weisart and Kinley Ebner with their business Self-Care Essentials. In 3rd place, Cleveland Corman with his business Future Farmer. In 2nd place, Lake M with his business Bubba's Bakery. In winning 1st place, Best Pitch and Best Presentation is Gabby Poles with her business Poles Pellets. For PTV, this is Colette Kennedy.
Another traditional competition that recently took place was the Regional Journalism Contest. Amanda Davison shows us more on that.
Journalism students showcase their skills and talents while competing in this year's regional contest.
The Regional Journalists Contest is sponsored by KSPA, which is the Kansas Scholastic Press Association. It's an annual contest for students in various journalism type fields who get to compete at a state-sponsored contest.
This experience not only provides the opportunity to compete, but it also helps students build their skills.
I gain knowledge and experience from just being able to write, use the prompts they give us, and just overall become a better journalism student.
Students had to adjust to changes in the competition this year.
This year's contest was different in the fact that we were unable to actually do an on-site contest, so everything was virtual and we weren't able to go to Hayes as usual to do all of our writing contests.
Honestly, I kind of like the change this year because it made some of the contests easier. Then I just felt more prepared than I did when I had to go in person.
Once results are finalized, students could advance to the state competition.
This contest will take about 2 weeks to be judged, and then after that, if they place in the top 6, they will go on to the state contest, which will be at the beginning of May.
For PTV, this is Amanda Davison.
Hello and welcome to the first ever PHS Rolling Chair Olympics. We have 4 competitors set to do battle on rolling chairs.
Basically, it's AKA just kids screwing around on chairs, swinging floaty devices at each other.
Well, you could put it that way, but these are finely tuned athletes that have been competing hard, working, practicing on these rolling chairs probably every day in class.
Right, and you can really tell by the muscular development speed training they've been going through.
I was going to go more to the chairs that they purchased have excellent wheels on them for speed.
Good point, Mr. Bursch.
In the first round, it looks like we have a joust with Trace pushing Rhett and Rad pushing Eli.
Yes. Oh, Trace has a good expand. Oh, look at that. Expand off the wall. Oh,
nice takeoff.
Yeah, that's a swing and a miss by both players. Round 2. Oh, interesting. He's got the swing. Oh.
We got a swing and Eli with a throw.
Oh, Rhett with a miss, but got him on the backhand. I think that was a point.
Excellent quickness exhibited by.
Oh, he de-chaired him on that one. If that was a joust, he would have won.
That's right. Eli with a large smile on the de-chairing.
Well, I would have to go with Eli and Rad on that first one. The de-chairing was a big point for me, so I think they won that round.
Coming out of the chair, that's an automatic loss.
You gotta stay seated. Okay, so round 2 coming up. They're gonna put a little twist on it this time, and we'll see what happens on round 2.
It looks to be another exciting adventure in round 2.
Yes.
Although we've had to make several changes and sacrifices this past year, it's nothing compared to other times in history when others had it far worse than we did.
One of those time periods was the Great Depression. And in Mr. Fiskus's American history class, juniors are learning how people had to make the best out of a hard situation. Take a look.
Mrs. Weisar's facts class and Mr. Fiskus's history classes collaborated to learn more about food options during the Great Depression.
What we're doing is we're going through and collaborating to make Great Depression food. When we go through the 1930s, we talk about, stock market crash, the Dust Bowl, a lot of different things and how people had to adapt to kind of survive to be able to feed families. And so something that we started when she took over facts is to be able to go in and cook different meals that people might have ate during the Depression.
In Mrs. Weisar's class, we found recipes from the Great Depression and then made them in class.
The goal is for students to get an understanding of, we see, food and it's plentiful, and then we make it whether it's, aesthetically pleasing, for taste, for all these other things where people used to have, it was just, what do I have? How can I survive?
Not only did the students have to research recipes, but they also had to learn to work with minimal resources.
Kind of, I don't want to say it's like Chopped or one of those shows, but we have a limited amount of ingredients and then they have to come up with the recipe, whether they find it or make one up on their own.
For PTV, this is Luke Hoover.
Can you believe how cold it got last week? I mean, it was so cold they had to cancel school. Like, how often does that happen?
I know, right? Almost never. So many people lost electricity too. We totally take it for granted.
Do you ever wonder what it would be like to be in a random survival situation for no reason at all? I mean, do you have what it takes to survive?
So, what is the first thing you need to do in the wilderness?
We're literally right next to the school.
Wrong! This is the wilderness and you must respect the wilderness.
Okay, build a signal fire, gather supplies.
What supplies? We're in the wilderness. You don't gather supplies. In the wilderness, you make them with your bare hands. And no one's coming for you, so you don't need a signal fire. Get that through your head.
I don't know about Jaden and Sydney's survival attempts, but I do know some teachers at the school couldn't survive without the help they get from their student aides.
Are you sure about that?
Well, okay, teachers could probably survive without their student aides, but I do know they are much appreciated. Here's a closer look at how student aides help out.
One of the perks of being a senior is becoming a teacher's student aide.
Student aides are basically just a class that you can take where you do different tasks for the teachers and try and help them out to limit the load of stuff that they have to do.
Student aides take on a variety of tasks.
I usually file away music. I help get everything sorted, and I make sure everything's in the right place. I keep track of all the music, and I also help with input on getting new music.
Student aides allow teachers to get more work done.
They really free up some time for me doing some of the things that it takes to set up for these events and allow me to do a little bit more in my office. So I usually send them out and do a little bit more of the hands-on work with getting ready for the events.
I personally recommend being a student aide. It's a lot of fun and I enjoy it.
For PTV, this is Kay Pockabeer.
Welcome back to round 2 of the PHS Rolling Chair Olympics, I guess we'll call it. Looks like they may have put a twist to it. I see maybe a mask used improperly, not covering the mouth, but covering the eyes.
Right. Trace had some good expenditure there. Oh, we had a major collision. There's a D-chairing again in the first round.
It looks like the physicality with the blindfold is much more important here.
Yeah, Red just has too much body weight, takes Trace right out of the chair.
Just a lot of power in those knees.
All right, second time through. Oh, Trace got a different. Oh, look at the swinging on that. We had a lasso. Look at that lasso effect.
The trouble with that is the lasso was good, but he was way off course.
Yeah.
I think his pusher got in trouble there.
I agree with you on that one. Red's going a little sideways here. Oh, total miss. Oh, and he falls off.
Another D-chairing, which is probably going to cause a loss and possibly a torn ACL.
Yep. So I would have to go round 2, back to Rad and Eli again.
I think you're right. Those guys need to stay in the chair.
Right.
I don't think this is working.
You will not defeat me. Ah! Okay, maybe we should just look for things to make a shelter. Okay, let's see what we can find. A tennis ball! This is good, I can use this. Let's see what else there is. A pin! I can use these.
Look, I went to my car and got a blanket.
You hear that, Ronaldo? She went to her car and she got a blanket. I don't think she has what it takes to survive.
What are you doing? Are you crazy or something?
Do you hear that, Ronaldo? She thinks I'm crazy. I know, right?
I'm so unfair.
Hey, you can't leave. You won't last 5 minutes without Ronaldo and I.
Ronaldo is a tennis ball.
She didn't feed it. Oh no, sicker, Ronaldo! Ah!
Eva, what are you doing? It's time to introduce our next story.
Sorry, I just thought I'd post a pic of us real quick. Don't worry, I really considered what I was posting before I did it.
Sounds like you were listening well in our recent assembly. Nick Skimper explains what that assembly was all about.
Things go viral so fast, so quick. It's crazy.
On March 2nd, Chet Copeland, founder of Sports in Kansas, gave PHS students a presentation at the Huck Boyd Center about the dangers of social media.
It's like we're being recorded 24/7 now, and breaking news, as I mentioned, doesn't happen on radio, doesn't happen on TV anymore. It could happen on social media of 140 character post. And when we do something we're 13, we'd hate to see that come back and affect us, when we're 23 and applying for a job and get searched by an HR or school board or whatever it is. I just think the idea of everything being out there and easy access to find everybody has some harsh consequences to it whenever maybe we post something that we shouldn't post, and that's why it comes in, kind of think before we post and what we're posting and having to be accountable for all of it. So it's a scary world out there with social media for sure.
Students enjoyed the presentation and picked up many tips about internet safety.
Anyone can screenshot anything, and whatever you screenshot or other people can screenshot that you post, you're responsible for.
People just spend all their time on TikTok or Instagram, or they just talk to people when they need something from them instead of just having a conversation with them, and we are losing all those communication skills.
For PTV, this is Nick Skimper.
Welcome to round 3. It looks as if we have a little bit of a different competition. I'd call it the rolling chair sumo
good.
event.
Yeah.
They still have their jousting noodle ready to go. What do you think?
I agree with you. We'll see who has the better backing ability in this one. Oh, we got some good push. Eli with the hand on the chair.
Looks like
turns him around. Rhett's
hanging. Oh, and he's pushed out.
Eli
And a little
with a big
extracurricular afterwards. We had a noodle joust there.
A little showboating. Oh, back to round 2 here. Oh,
Rhett starts off tough with a couple good noodles, but
he's getting turned sideways. Oh, Eli's doing some taunting. Oh, and he pushes him out again.
Traction looks to be a main factor. I think footwear is important in this event.
I agree with you. Oh, Rhett's trying to get a little head start. Oh, he's getting some more back slaps. Eli getting on the push again.
Looks like Eli's about to...
Oh, we have some dirty play going on there. Did you see that at the end? Rhett, very frustrated, showing through with bad sportsmanship on that one.
That is true, but I think in the rolling chair sumo, it's encouraged.
I would agree with you
towards the
there.
end of it.
Right. The more pain, the better. So I would have to say Eli has a little bit more junk in the trunk, pushing him out.
I would say that's exactly right.
And better shoes.
Yeah, I think traction's important, and Eli, he is ducking and covering here at the end. Looks a little bit, beat up, but he's the winner.
I would agree with you there.
Now it's time for our PTV Sports Update with Joel and Jeremy.
Hey Panther fans, it's time for another PTV Sports Report. I'm Jeremy Ford.
And I'm Joel Ford. PHS qualified 2 wrestlers for the state tournament. Freshman Bella Kazee made school history as the first girl to qualify for the state tournament. She did not advance to the medal round, but will hopefully be back at state next year for another try. Congrats, Bella.
Junior Brock Burrish was our only boy wrestler to qualify for state this year. He medaled with a 6th place finish. Nice job, Brock.
Now on to basketball with our boys who headed into the sub-state tournament as the number 4 seed. We faced the number 5 seeded Goodland Cowboys at home in the quarterfinals. Here's a recap of that game.
To start off the first round of sub-state, the PHS boys basketball team competed against the Goodland Cowboys. The boys started slow and were behind by 3 at the end of the first quarter. But good defensive efforts like this one from Kagan Keaton helped the Panthers to hold the Cowboys to only scoring 4 points in the second quarter. Freshman Rad Rodriguez helps extend the lead by making this bunny. The Panthers led by 3 at halftime with a score of 20-17. The boys came out of halftime hustling as Devin Johnson saves the ball, leading to a nice shot by Ty Sides. Junior Joel Ford also helps to put up points as he made both of his sets of free throws. Throughout the rest of the game, the boys maintained control and stayed ahead with a score of 34-25 at the end of the third quarter. The boys continued to dominate in the fourth quarter as Jeremy Ford gets after the defensive boards. 7 players scored throughout the game to give the Panthers a good lead. The Panthers defended the basket well to win the game 48-39. Coach Sides was proud of the boys for their defensive efforts.
We kept them, we were up there at half a little bit, so it was good to have the lead and then come back to the second half and kind of get some offense going. We got a tough league schedule, and we're battling. We got some young posts that are getting better, and tonight's game was a good experience for them to see playoff basketball.
Senior Ty Sides had 23 points in the game.
We got off to a slow start, but we rebounded in the second half, got after it. We made them uncomfortable on defense, and then we finished the game well.
I mean, the success tonight is getting the lead and then taking care of the ball and spreading them out.
Just getting to the rim. I thought we finished well around the rim, and we played solid defense, only allowing 39 points.
For PTV, this is Ava Skimper.
In the semifinals, our boys team put up a good fight against the number 1 seeded TMP Monarchs, but fell short 50-69.
Our girls team headed into Substate as the number 1 seed and faced off against the Beloit Lady Trojans in the quarterfinals. Corey Gendos has highlights from that game.
The Lady Panthers start the game with the first points on the board as Taryn Side hits this 3-point shot. To cap a 10-point run, Ava Skimper finds an open Kay Pockebeer inside for this bucket. And on the next offensive play, Skimper picks up another assist when she passes to Meredith Jacobs, who gets 2 more points for Phillipsburg. In the second quarter, the Lady Panthers continue to pile on points when Heather Skimper gets this inside look. To finalize the first half, Caitlin Cheney drives right past her defender for a layup. The Lady Panthers lead at half 45-14. In the second half, the Lady Panthers continue to score at will with plays like this drive from Ava Skimper and this baseline shot by Meg Keaton. Phillipsburg defeats Beloit 71-30 to advance to sub-state semifinals. For PTV, this is Corey Gendos.
After defeating Beloit, the girls traveled to Norton to take on the Lady Jays in the semifinals.
PHS fans cowboyed up and made some noise for the Lady Panthers, who maintained control of the game from the very beginning.
The girls were able to avenge their previous loss to Norton and went on to win 49-36.
In the Sub-State Championship, the girls took advantage of the opportunity to avenge their only other regular season loss when they battled the TMP Lady Monarchs.
The Lady Panthers proved tough offensively by scoring on the perimeter like this shot from sophomore Taryn Sides. They also got their inside game fired up as Kinsey Storrs finds Meredith Jacobs for another 2 points.
The Lady Panthers led at half 32-29. In the second half, the Lady Panthers maintained control with shots like this big 3-pointer by Storrs.
Sophomore Heather Skimper also had a strong game like this move to extend the Lady Panther lead.
The girls won 68-61 and headed back to state for the second year in a row.
After a long journey to Hugoton for the state quarterfinals, the girls started off well and had a 7-point lead after senior May Keaton gets a steal and to set up this shot.
Picks up her dribble to Sides. Taryn, right corner, 3's on its way. Bingo!
But then the Lady Eagles go on a 10-0 run and lead after the first quarter 15-12.
Sides answers early in the second quarter with this drive.
Points here for the Lady Panthers. She drives in, floaters up, and good.
The Lady Panthers continue to fight to get back on top, and with 27 seconds left in the fourth quarter, Abby Babcock does this to pull within 2.
Out front to Skimper. Ava back to Babcock. Right corner 3 for Abby. Good!
But time ran out on Phillipsburg, and they come up short 47-52. But hats off to them for another history-making season for the Lady Panthers.
That's all the time we have for Sports Today. I'm Joel Ford.
And I'm Jeremy Ford.
Go Panthers!
Can I go home now? This is getting ridiculous.
This is your home now. We should look for food.
We need to keep our calorie intake up. Come on!
Look, I found something.
That's disgusting.
What are you doing? You proved your point. You can survive. Can I go home now?
No. What's that, Ronaldo? I was thinking the same thing.
I'm leaving.
We don't need her, Ronaldo. Survival of the fittest.
Sydney, what are you thinking about?
I don't know. Anyways, my boyfriend and I, we were just...
Eva, have you ever watched the show Hawaii Five-0?
I think I've heard of it. Isn't one of those typical cop shows?
Yes, but what you probably didn't know is that we also have a Phillipsburg 5-0, as you'll see in our last segment.
Today has just not been a good day. Today could not get any worse. Wow, I was wrong. I've got to tweet this. Hey, you! What? I saw your tweet. Hop in. What about that suspicious looking guy over there? I guess we'll get him too. Hey, you, stop!
Why'd you do it?
Because I wanted to. Well, first, he stole my math assignment, and then he made fun of my pit vipers. So, I got in a fight with him, and I shoved him down a slide, and he broke his neck. Then I threw him over my shoulder, walked to the nearest tree, threw him in there, and just left.
I don't think it's that easy.
Well, if you don't think it's me, and it's obviously me, I'll just leave.
Where did you find the body?
In that tree.
No! You're lying! So what's your side of the story?
I found him hanging in that tree over there.
So you knew where the body was. Guilty! Get up. You have the right to remain. Shut up and sit down.
Another day, another case solved. It's just too easy.
That wraps up another episode of PTV. We hope all of you have a safe and happy spring break. I'm Colette Kennedy.
And I'm Eva Arment. Stay classy, Phillipsburg High.